now we're going to go through 3 books that I read within the last year and how they changed my philosophy and kind of what I've been learning from these things. So the first one is a book called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. We're actually planning on, I don't think we're going to be able to read it as a team with the kids' schedules. I don't think they're going to want to read it, but so I think we're actually going to listen to certain parts. But so basically what this talks about is, I'll give you some background on it. Jocko Willink was a Navy SEAL, and he was the commanding officer of a bunch of other SEAL team units in Iraq. And he talks about some real-life experiences of his experiences as a SEAL team commander and how it applies to the business or team set principles. But so the first thing is you have to take ownership for everything that happens on your team. This is the story that I want our guys to learn most. So the story within the book is that they're going in to get rid of an insurgent population in this city. And as they're going in, one of their teams begins to get fired upon. And it's another Iraqi soldier, but he gets killed walking into this gate. And so then there's this huge firefight, and one of their groups is like, hey, we need air support. The other one's like, hey, we need tank support. And so as he walks up to to where it is, he kind of looks around, he's like, man, this is weird. And so then he actually walks right up to the gate, opens the door, and sees his own guys on the other end of the fire. Right, so it was what he calls blue on blue, which is friendly fire, which is obviously the worst thing you can do in any military situation. But the whole thing he talks about is how everyone responded. So obviously all his upper management and peers are like, what the hell happened, man? How could you kill one of our own guys? Like, this is the worst thing that you guys can possibly do. And as they're talking through it, he's asked everybody, like, what happened? And what had ended up happening was that an Iraqi unit that they were working with actually went past where they should have been. They shouldn't have been where they were. And so if you have 5 different types of military all in the same area, they all have to communicate, but they all communicate on different waves. And so all that upper command has to be really good. But so one of the SEAL team sniper divisions didn't tell them where they were. They didn't relocate their situation. So then when they tried to attack them, they ended up having this friendly fire situation. So as they're in this meeting talking about who the problem was, every single person within the thing took blame for the activity. And that's what I want my guys to realize, is that as much as this says you have to take ownership for everything, let me tell it in a better way. He says, what happened? What went wrong? A guy raises his hands. I should have relayed this information quicker. No, you're wrong. What else happened? I should have done this. No, you're wrong. And then he, because he was the commander, took ownership for the entire thing, because had he made a bigger deal of them doing all the other little things, it never would have happened. But so in doing that, you end up letting the players know that it is on you, which also helps them realize they need to take ownership for it as well. And so that's probably the biggest thing I've learned over the last year. And actually within our winter ball, I've been trying to use it a lot more. We'll get into it a bit later with what we're actually running. But so in order to do that, you kind of have to check your ego. And that's a big one for me. Like, I really have to acknowledge when I make mistakes. So let's take the first game of the year last year. We got destroyed by Highlands Ranch. We got annihilated. I think it was like 17-8, something along those lines. But we had not gone over clears. And I can't be mad at the guys for not knowing how to clear. We didn't go over clears. So that's one of the things we're going to start with this year. But so you really have to be able to just kind of bite the bullet and be like, okay, I've got to do something to change this. No bad teams, only bad leaders. And then the quote is, you haven't taught until they've learned, by John Wooden, which I really like. And I won't tell you the whole story within the book. You guys can read the books for yourselves. But basically, in the SEAL team training, they have these boat crews, and they make them go out on the water, dump everything over, go a ways in the water, pull everything back, and then run. And this one team was winning the whole time. And then another team was losing the whole time. And they switched the leaders in the boats. And then the team that was losing the whole time ended up winning because his expectation for the players was better, and he basically led in a better way. The next thing is just simple, keeping it as simple as you possibly can so that everyone can remember what their job is. So that comes with my last year, having everyone know everything, not a good idea. But having people know where their strengths are and what they should do within game time situations, that's good. Then prioritize and execute. Like after our Highlands Ranch game, we hit clears a lot after that game. But that comes with the realization of, I didn't teach them, now we must learn it. And then last one is actually from a different book, but I like it. But it's compare your team today to your team yesterday. And that's what parents need to understand. You could have a game where you get routed by a really good team and everyone seems to hang their heads, but you had 3 guys who actually banana cut it out for the clear, made passes. They missed the pass up to the midfielder, but they were in the right spots. And that's the thing that you as coaches, that we all as coaches have to see and acknowledge that it's a good thing. The quote is, don't look for big, quick improvement. Seek the small improvement one day at a time. That's the only way it happens, and when it happens, it lasts. And so as we go into how to build skills within the players, that's probably the most important thing, is that it really is small, incremental improvement. So that's one of the things that I learned over the year, and I wanted to share because I think it's very important. Any questions, comments on that?
I think I'm with you on that. I tried to throw too much at him last year, and I'm taking a step back and just trying to be more simplistic in the approach. And let them improve their IQ through just playing the game and come organically for this year.
Definitely. Anybody else?
One of the things I always talk to our team about is getting better every day. And I challenge our players at practice. What do you want to do today to get better? And not just, coach, I want to get faster or whatever. It's very specific. I want to work on my footwork. I want to work on my stick skills. So instilling that each little step along the way kind of builds a better team. So again, I always try to make it a point to grab 1 or 2 players before practice, say, what do you want to work on today, and how do you want to get better?
I like it. Will you do me a favor, Coach Hussey? So, by the way, this is Coach Justin Robinson. He's going to be our C team coach this year, and this is Coach Hussey. He'll be the head coach of our JV squad.